This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing, we are starving. We should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Opeyemi Akinyode as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you next as we discuss the situations.
Very good evening to you. Welcome to the station room live on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. I don't know why I'm always super excited when it comes to joining you every day, because it gives me another opportunity to share thoughts, especially as we bring in the very best of analysts, seasoned analysts actually, politicians, opinion leaders, molders, shakers, image makers, everyone that is involved with the daily existence of our democracy, especially in terms of delivering the dividends of democracy to Nigerians. Well, the last, let me say 1 month plus, has been really engaging on the show, because we started a series that ended last month. I would call it the scorecard series, where we had a lot of politicians, spokespersons of governors, spokespersons of senators, commissioners join us from different parts of the country to give us a scorecard of what the last 1 year, but in case of governors that are running their second time in office, the last 5 years had been for them in terms of delivering dividends of democracy to Nigerians. And it's basically about asking questions. It's basically about accountability within the public space. The people that trusted you with their mandate, what have you given them back in return? The people that you swore to protect when you were sworn in, have you delivered your promises? The campaign promises, all of the sloganeering, the movement left and right, the promises, the dances, the shenanigans that happened on the campaign ground. How have you been able to meet up with those promises? Because politics basically, like my friends would always say, it's about who speaks first, or perhaps who speaks best. And in Nigerian case, sometimes it's about who spends the most, or maybe who spends the best. Well, it's been an engaging conversation yesterday rather. Mr. Adeyemi joined me on the show, and we looked at the issue of the ranching, and we're going to be focusing more on it again today. We just looked at it in passing yesterday, but we'll focus more on the local government autonomy. Why is it difficult for Nigerians to enjoy dividends of democracy right to the grassroots, especially as Section 7, subsection 21 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999 as amended was very clear on the provision of the local government recognized within the Constitution. And yesterday also made it a week exactly that the Supreme Court gave the 36 state governors 1 week to come defend or to come raise their conversation around the case, the suit that was filed against them by the Attorney General of the Federation, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, in respect to the autonomy of the local government. Well, a lot of people are saying, well, this is basically the president wanting to initiate the structure around restructuring left or right. However way you look at it, the most important thing is that the Nigerian people deserve to enjoy the dividends of democracy as promised or as expected by the law and as promised by these politicians. And most times we don't even have the space to ask them these questions, because the moment they get into office and then they come up with a lot of media aids, and so before you speak to your senator you have to go through the senior legislative aides, or you have to go to his media aids, and sometimes they don't even come to their senatorial offices again. Some of them don't even interface with their constituents to know what the needs of their constituents are. So they just bring in projects, they just bring in empowerment projects. I've been I've been to cover an event. It's basically an empowerment project by a legislator, an House of Representatives member actually. And at that empowerment, they came to distribute things that obviously the constituents are not in dear need of. So somebody that needed sewing machine, for instance, was given a tricycle, the one we call 괶. So what we should do, there are a lot of people, fun enough, a lot of people were at that empowerment scheme, the launching, that were ready to buy those things immediately from the beneficiary. So somebody gets a tricycle, for instance, and then she really wants a sewing machine, and then she sells the tricycle for cheap so that she could afford to buy a sewing machine. But imagine if the reps member had been able to sit down and discuss with his constituents to find out what exactly are your needs, prioritize them. What do you want the most? What do you need at this moment? We wouldn't have had that situation. But I think we'd continue to ask those questions. Most especially, we create the space where you get to talk, and then you get to speak to these people one way or the other. So that's why we always create this program. And this is not the only thing you get to hear on the mainland FM station. You get to hear from Sunday 6 to 8 p.m. political roundtable with Said Fuad, and on Wednesday midweek politics from 1 to 3 p.m. I always come back with Said Fuad as well. Both of us will take you through everything you need to know in the world of Nigerian politics. So it's a bumper package. Today's Friday, means this is the last edition of the show for the week, and today is also the 7th of June 2024. The year is moving really fast. Dr. Tᴏɪᴜᴜ joins me on the show today, and we're going to be looking at the ranching or the open grazing debate, to be or not to be. In the course of the week, the grazing bill passed the second reading on the floor of the Senate, and it led to a lot of noise and disagreement within the senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. There were a lot of opinions divided along that line, but we're going to be focusing more on it. Is it supposed to go through this process? Are we supposed to find it really this difficult to choose whether to allow people move their cattle to across every state of the federation, to allow them graze on farms, on people's properties? Or perhaps you think it makes a lot of sense? When this conversation started, it didn't even start. It's been with us for a very long time, but at the peak of the last assembly, that's the 9th Senate, under the distinguished Senate President of Senator Lawan, there was a debate in respect to should Nigerians, or should breeders or cattle rearers in Nigeria, should they ranch their cattle? And I want to read it, that unfortunately Nigeria's beef is one of the poorest in terms of quality anywhere in the world. Nigerian dairy, that's our milk, is one of the poorest in terms of quality anywhere in the world, because you can't even measure the quality of the cows that will move around. But imagine where you look at countries that are choosing to ranch their cows. They can check them, they can give them medical attention when needed, they can check the growth and the quality of the produce. Again, you look at it, the people that are saddled with this responsibility, the Fulani people have been living with us for years, many years, and we've not had issues that are constantly come up with this. We've had, my mom's son got, one of my uncle settled in Kwara State. So there was a time I went over to him to spend a couple of months, and he has a farm, a very big cattle farm, and everyone that works with him are all Fulani guys, and these guys relate, they talk. You wouldn't even have an idea of who owns the cattle, or who is controlling this, or who is controlling what. I've also been privileged to stay in the north for a lot of years, and the relationship has always been good until very recently. So that has constantly brought up the conversation around ranching or not ranching, to be or not to be. That's what we're going to be focusing on the show today. Dr. Tᴜɪᴜ joins me on the show via phone, and together I will look at the pros and the cons. I mean, should we even get to the point where people start arguing, especially when you look at what is happening in across the federation, from the middle belt, from Plateau State to Benue State to Nasarawa State, the killings, the attack, even down to 𝐴̀kìtì. Should we have this conversation, or we all think it's long overdue? I take a very quick break. I connect with my guest, then the conversation will start from there. You're welcome. In case you're just tuning in, it's the Station Room, and you're live on Mainland 98.3 FM. This is the sound of Lagos.
Oga Police, don't worry, I see you. You know you can do the right thing, right? You know you can do without that bribe. You know you don't even have to harass that young man because he is properly dressed. And you think he's a Yahoo boy? You don't even have to assault that citizen whom you have sworn an oath to protect. Yes, we understand that the pay is not good enough to take you home, that you are still wearing a uniform that you bought with your own money 5 years ago. It's no news that the government has not done enough by you. We feel your pain, and we wish things could be different as we continue to call on government to wake up to their responsibilities. We want the police to be our friends, just as it is boldly stated across the various police stations nationwide. And from Mainland 98.3 FM, we implore you to do better. We love you and we support you always.
Things seems anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but yes, not. If there were,
in our quest to bring to the table issue-based conversation around nationhood and development, we have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday a perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say to except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing, we are starving. Tᴜɪᴜ should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Opeyemi Akinyode as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you in your next as we discuss the situations.
You're welcome back. Dr. Tᴜɪᴜ joins me on the show. He's a public health expert, but of course, the very few men that can have a robust conversation about politics, governance, even policies of government at every level. Thank you so much for joining us, and apologies once again for the very short notice, Dr. Tᴜɪᴜ.
Thank you. Good evening, listeners at Mainland FM. Opeyemi, nice speaking with you. It's been some time.
Yeah,
I guess you joined the strike. We were on strike trying to push for some reforms in Nigeria. I hope you've done very well.
Absolutely. They've always said that whatever happens, the show must go on. Unfortunately, even on public holidays, Mainland FM is always on to keep. And I've also been monitoring you, by the way. And I've been seeing some of the advocacy that you've been doing about prostate cancer. And I must admit that you're doing an amazing job. So thank you very much for always making yourself available.
Absolutely. That's why we're here. You are doing public work. I'm also doing public work. Thank God you are listening to the prostate cancer. It's going to be a big conversation when one of these days you call us and we'll talk more about it. We will take care of our health. Men must take up their first thing. We are not supposed to die young. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you. So let's switch to politics. By the way, you can actually check Dr. Tᴡɪᴛᴛᴇʀ on social media. He has a lot of videos on YouTube that could be really useful for you. But today, we're looking at politics, and let's get straight up into it. By the way, before we switch into the conversation of ranching or grazing, I want to take your opinion or your assessment of the last 1 year of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We celebrated that about last week, and more importantly, the 25th stretch democracy that we have, the fourth republic, the longest we've had since 1960 independent. We're moving into the 26th year. We've had transition from the presidency of Olusegun Obasanjo to late Yar'Adua to Goodluck Jonathan, Muhammadu Buhari, and now we have President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In the midst of all of this, Dr. Tᴡɪᴛᴛᴇʀ, what would you say of the last 1 year, and how much should we celebrate the 25th year of the fourth republic?
Thank you so much. All we've been experiencing is transition without transformation. What do I mean by transformation? The purpose of governance, of government for everybody, is that we must have the requisite transformations that are impacting on the lives of the people, impacting on the way of living, impacting on how they perceive government. But if you look at it now, and people, you go on the street and say that, how do you perceive this government? Perception is very important. No matter what you're saying, no matter what you say, no matter what you're doing, there must be that kind of low-hanging fruit that you can always, have the tangible low-hanging fruit that they can hold on to it. If you're doing everything and those tangible things are not there, it will be a problem. Even this one, the Bible had to ask his disciples that, how do people think I am? Who do people think I am? And then after the people didn't know what to do, he asked them, what do you think I am? I think at the level of Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the past 1 year, if you go to the street and ask that, who do people think Bola Ahmed, the president is, you hear a lot of interesting stories. And then if you now even ask Bola Ahmed's disciples, who do they think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is? You see also the conflicting report. Conflicting report in the sense that one says that it's going to address National Assembly, the other says no, we are not going to do it. One says that there's a fiscal policy to reduce food costs. One says no, we are not doing it. One says that the cost of the minimum wage is now 105,000. The other one says no, it's something like that. So you see a lot of complicity that is not direction, that's not giving you focus and clarity in the direction of government. We don't want that to happen. Even if we are facing the worst situation, all we need to do is have a clear-cut milestones and deliverables at every point in time. What is the deliverable now? Well, we said that is trying to create a good foundation for democracy. But that will be more meaningful. What at their own level, at the level of governance, they sacrifice. Once you make sacrifice, you follow you and make sacrifice. You don't ask people to make sacrifice while you are not making sacrifice. That cannot be something in the direction that you want to hear. So we are here. But I mean, people is still digging deeper, laying foundations according to him. But people are also still looking and wondering how deep is this foundation going to be.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tᴡɪᴛᴛᴇʀ. So let's get straight up into the crux of the conversation today. On Tuesday, a bill seeking to ban open grazing and establish ranches for herders in the country has passed a second reading at the Senate. The bill was passed on Wednesday during the plenary after the majority of the senators supported it when the Senate President Godswill Akpabio put it to vote. It was titled A Bill for an Act to Establish the National Animal Husbandry and Ranches Commission for the Regulation, Management, Preservation and Control of Ranches throughout Nigeria and for Connected Purposes 2024. Now, that particular conversation generated a lot of controversy around the social media space, and it began from the Senate building, the Senate chamber rather, itself. When you saw the reaction of some of the senators to this bill that had passed the second, and by the way, it was not a freshly sponsored bill. It's been a bill that came in towards the end of the 8th Assembly, and it didn't get any direction throughout the 9th Assembly, and the 10th Assembly had decided to pick it up. When you saw the reaction, what interpretation did you give to that, Dr. Tᴡɪᴛᴛᴇʀ?
we're not going to get anything from that bill. Forget it. You're not going to, because again, tell you what, even if you send the bill, there's always the political side and always the institutional side of any bill. Okay? You can do any bill, you can do anything, but the politics has cropped so much into that bill. One, the bill was coming from a senator from Makurdi, who said that, you know what, we've had a lot of fracas, a lot of fighting between farmers and farmers, and we need to actually control it. Like any person that the bill has gone through one system itself, 8 nights and picked up by the 10th Senate. So what happened? Why? I think the fundamental question we need to ask is that why couldn't that big pass goes to Senate? Then, the second thing, we need to bring that into the conversation now. Why are we having such serious discussion about that bill that is so important that to create harmony within the herders and farmers, and all these herdsmen and even the other states, many states in Nigeria. So it becomes a big issue, and then because we are going to, apart from that level, it is a multiple conflict. It's religious, it's ethnic, it's territorial. You know, states, for the federal government, every time to grant its power. I think what they need to do to that bill, if they want it to be worked, actually sit down and really analyze why was this bill not passed. I think they have to go back to the stakeholders and really track out a place of all the tiny aspects of the bill that is causing this problem. And why should we have so much focused discussion over how cattle moves, how cattle feed, and all that? And you will quickly understand, it's not even about the country. Country does not know anything, whether you are party bill about them or not party bill about them. It's about humans, it's about geopolitics, it's about the next election. That's all we are seeing there. I hope literally the Senate president can be careful with the details by actually going through some of these stakeholders and see how to flesh out and ensure that thing is done. You can pass the bill and the government and for instance say the federal law, and then you get to Lagos State, you are looking for rights to establish rights in Lagos State. And Lagos State government said, listen, the land belongs to me, so I'm not interested in your bill. And then you don't have to go back to the Supreme Court and try to fight that issue. It will be there forever. I'm not seeing anything happening. Thank you.
Dr. Sɪᴛᴜᴏ, now let's open this conversation up a little more. Senator Yenaya Baribe from Abia South was the one that supported the bill. I told you it was not the first introduced bill. It was probably one of the bills that have really been battered all through different assemblies of the Senate. Now, from Gombe Central, APC Senator Danjuma Goje absolutely disagreed with the provision of the bill that ranches only should be established in states with pastoralist communities, and he says it contradicts the provision of the constitution that expresses free movement. And he also says, which is really key, he said these people, that's the elders, they are also Nigerians and they don't benefit from anything. They don't benefit from schools, they don't benefit from hospitals, they don't benefit from anything. So why do we want to restrict their movement? Senator Adamu Alero, the PDP from Kebbi Central, also raised the point of order, citing the 1999 constitution that every citizen has the right to move without any hindrance. Now, but again, one of the things that Senator Abaribe brought up is the fact that the whole clashes had lost to, had cost millions of, nairas in terms of revenues. He also cited that one of the reasons why we're having food shortages today is because the farmers can't go to farm because of the clashing between the farmers and the herders. He also talked about the fact that we should go look at the hundreds of thousands of Nigerians that are in IDP camps today that have been displaced from their ancestral lands because of these clashes. Where would you stand, Dr. Tᴜɪᴜᴏ, if you happen to be a member of the Nigerian Senate, the pros or the cons of this conversation?
Indeed, everybody will figure out how to get the peaceful coexistence, peaceful harmony, integration of the farmers, and the herders. And don't let us forget it. Feeding farming is not just about cows alone, or movement of cows or movement of cattle. Don't let us, start hopping and hopping over things that you can easily, understand and relate to. If not for the politics side of the thing, like I said earlier, if not for the 2027 election coming, if not for the geopolitical grandstanding, going on, and if not for the religious explanations to some of these things that is going on. And now, for me, honestly, it's so challenging that we, at this point, we're still discussing how cows should move, how cows should feed, or how cattle should be housed or managed in a way. Now we've been doing this over a long time. I can tell you confidentially, hopefully, that even during the time of Awolowo, they are ranches. In the southwestern part of Nigeria, many ranches where they have to bring cow from as far as Argentina and Brazil and come and attend, most of them here. So it's not new. For me, I don't know why the power could have given to the state. Because the state itself, you understand, would know the essence of animal husbandry, whether they how they want to feed the animal, why the animal protein is important for the health of the people, why they want to. So I think more of the control, since those lands are in the hands of the state, or 10 years in the land of the federal government. Is there not necessarily in the federal government land?
No.
So I think really what we should be looking at is how to look at the level of the state and harmonize and bring them into that conversation if you want the to really work. Okay? But you'll be surprised that you go right ahead, you make a bill, beautiful bill, you think that's going to be at the level of that's going to make bring the peace that you so desire, that's going to make the food available in such a way that you so desire. And I've always been contesting effective and efficiency. Only to be efficient, that may not be effective when it comes to implementation. I think the details is the implementation and what the state seems to be. And that's why I think it's very clear that if you don't go back to the state and look at the work with the different stakeholders, if you don't tidy the stakeholder in this bill, it's just a bill that just be a bill. So many things are hanging, even so many laws are hanging again and they're just laws. It's only when you want to harass somebody that you go and bring the law and to harass anybody. It's not just say it will not work. It will not work. So for me, I am for us to regulate the movement of car and everything. If someone is telling you about schooling and all sorts of things, honestly, nobody talks from schooling. And at a point in time, the late Professor Jubil Aminu, that junior professor of cardiology, was Minister of Education. At a point in time, he established nomadic education for the foreigners. Okay, I even Jonathan in his time tried to deepen education, among those people. And then if you are thinking about education as ability to speak English and to talk on radio like Opeyemi, well, that is okay. But the other education in terms of Islamic education. So education is supposed to enhance you, to help you function. So if you are talking about, if you are saying that they are not attending hospital, they are not attending education, nobody has made a law that they cannot go to hospital. If the animals should get near, let me give an example, maybe near Palestine in the around that area. It's important for them to be sick that they can even leave the animal with somebody and then go right ahead and access care to the primary health care center there around that place. Nobody saw them from I don't know why that conversation comes in. How do you now imagine that if they don't create rights for people herding cows, herding cattle, that means that they are not enjoying part of Nigeria? That's not true. It's really in their own interest that they make this thing work able, so that they can have peace, they can multiply their business, they can improve their business, assure a conducive environment for both of them and even the farmers and even their taxes.
Thank you, Dr. Tui. A lot of, almost on daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, you open the pages of newspapers, you go through your news outlets, the TV, and then you see reports of killings, of clashes in Kaduna, in Kano, in Jos, in Benue, in Zamfara, issues of farm encroachment, issues of cattle rustling, herders and farmers, displacement of villages. It's been with us for a couple of years now, especially when you look at the relationship that have existed between the herders and the farmers for many years. Now, I want to ask you, as a student of conflict management, I've always believed in the fact that a particular method, if failed, should not be the only way that conflict can be resolved. Now, I want to ask you, if the political solutions that have been brought up are not working, what other alternative dispute resolution method do you think we should use, Dr. Tᴏɪᴜᴜ, on this issue of herders and farmers clashes? Because people are dying every day.
Hello, Opeyemi. What political solution are you talking about? Well, if there's a criminality, now what is happening that we're coloring, we're transparently, we're addressing criminality in politics. If you do that, because again, first and foremost, there are rules that guide everybody. There are clear rules, and then we know where legal issues and where political issues should begin. If somebody invades Kajuru or whatever in Kaduna State and enter the place, slaughter people, rush through to do everything, that's criminality now. What policy do you want to discuss about that? But at the end of the day, people still resistant. People that are supposed to protect life and property still resistant because they need votes. They tend to pander and behave as if nothing is happening. As if they're sacrificing this human blood to get votes in the next election. So, tell you what, criminality is criminality. If they're not able to sit down and address criminality of an issue and we're cloaking with political things, we're wasting our time, we will not get anywhere. So, those people can record because there are lots of people who say that bigger than the state. They say that if we do what we have to us. And you see some of them trying to say, go and negotiate with criminals, go and do this with that. And then they will not be bringing larger data issue negotiation as an example. And I wonder, what has gone wrong with our thinking? And I will say this for free today, that as far as the thing that differentiates human being from animal is that we can think thoughts. We can think our thoughts. It's a kind of cognition and a meta cognition. So now, part of the problems we're having is that we've not really gotten to a level where people are bold enough to express clear thoughts and follow up on that thought. If you go right ahead, you take gun, you enter into a village, you slaughter people because you have cow or whatever, that's criminality. First of all, you are possessing gun, which you are not supposed to. You enter a place, you kill people. So that, have you dealt with that before you start talking about political solution? What do you want to tell me that I'm in my place? Some people came in there, pick me up, and so before you know it, kidnappers will ask for political solution. Before you know it, because again, we've seen it, where people that just grab money that they don't need to impress people that don't like them. They just grab the money, they start to away, and they're saying they are looking for political solution. So what now? They say that they can negotiate, they can give you part of the money. So for what now? Because in reality, when the money gets away from them, the next person will go to steal the money again. So let us clearly differentiate between criminality and politics. If you use criminality or criminality to drive politics, you will never solve that criminality. You will never have solution. So if you are bold enough to do that, you can do it. It was one of the Nigerian presidents that said that when you see, violence, or killing or whatever, or instability happening for more than 48 hours, there's government time in it. Let's reflect on that.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Tui. Now, a couple of years back, the coalition of North Central political parties, that's the name they call themselves, they come up with a letter, and it was forwarded to the president. The president then was President Goodluck Jonathan, and one of the things they said was that the relationship between the farmers and the herders have broken down totally. Can this ever be refixed, Dr. Tui? Because sorry, let me drive the question further. I've been a bit privileged to, firsthand observe this relationship, and then we've seen situations where people that owns this land would lease this land to these farmers for a couple of years. Some of the people within these villages would go into the bushes and cut grass and come give it to these herders in return for sometimes milk, sometimes money. Sometimes you see farmers that will go to these cattle breeders and go and get waste from the cattle to act as manure to their farms. How can we push all of these if you say that we should stick to it? Criminality is criminality, but we've looked at political solutions. Now it was brought on the floor of the House, it was debated, and in fact there were suggestions that the bill should be stepped down, despite the fact that it has passed the second reading. Should we in any way look for ways of fixing that relationship so that we can go back to what we used to be?
Now, fixing relationship, if you want to fix relationship, perfect, good, fine, we want the rest to fix. We want them to live in harmony. But tell you what happened in the past, when they can really live together, the farmers giving promises, those grasses they're eating, and those ones getting milk, getting manure in return. Why were they not fighting then? Why were they not fighting? That's that fundamental question. Why were they not fighting? Now, when it came to the fact that I'm a farmer, I've just started my own corn or my cassava, and your animal came in, ate every part of it, and then all you are now telling me is that as I go to because you are connected to one political entity, and then you make the way to politics. And then when it comes to the fact that my animal came to your farm and ate your disgrace, instead of you to say, come and pay, you now took bombs and killed all my animal, and then because the government is on your side. So there's definitely the criminality aspect of it. Now, which we must address. Then the second thing that if it is clear that once my animal inside your farm and every kind of thing, I have an insurance that can do the payment to guys in that regard. Is that not at least resolving that
workable solution?
Yeah, that's not a company resolution. Or when you have a governor who says that, okay, all the people that come in, if you have anything to do with them and the animal enter your farm and this kind of thing, there is a commission that we report to, and we look at how to evaluate it and then provide some compensation for you as the case may be. Is that not part of trying to resolve that angle before you start talking about the solution? So when you say that, okay, somebody says that, okay, this can happen, we can eat all these things, but because I am governor, because I am this, because I'm APC, BCC, you can't touch me. What will happen? You escalate the conflict. You escalate the conflict. If you are pretending that you don't want to discuss that aspect, well, good luck.
Okay, thank you very much. In case you're just tuning in, we've been discussing the issue of the open grazing or ranching, the bill that was debated on the floor of the Senate about 2 days ago, and then of course it generated a lot of controversy. Some senators feeling it's a restrictive bill. If passed into law, it will contradict the provision of the Constitution of the 1999 Constitution as amended that allowed free movement. And Dr. Tᴜɪ̀nᴜ is helping us to understand some of these issues. Why have we struggled so badly in terms of looking for solutions to these problems? There's been suggestion of ranching, there's been suggestion of leasing of properties, there's been suggestion of bring your cattle rather, keep them here, I'll supply grains for you or grass for you, give me money. All of these had not brought up workable solutions. That's why on daily basis you still hear of killings here and there, and it's constantly becoming a problem. In fact, from what Transparency International reports that was given in December, 60% of IDP that we have in Nigeria is actually as a result of the farmers and herders clashes, not even insurgency or Boko Haram that we feel we are paying more attention to. So that's exactly why we're trying to look into how do we look for these solutions today. And Dr. Tᴜɪ̀mᴜ has been very clear on it. Don't politicize criminality. What is criminal is criminal. Don't give it any political coloration. On the turn of 5 o'clock, or let me say before then, we'll open the phone lines because messages are coming in already, and I will also want to pick your calls. But Dr. Mbaondu, let's look at the people that have argued for these issues, and they've talked about one: if you ranch your cattle, it improves the quality of your beef, improves the quality of your milk. It also improves the market, it lowers the risk of which your cattle are exposed to, because you move them from one state to the other. You can also be attacked. They could be beaten by snakes and all of that. Do you think the farmers, or let me put it this way, the herders, do you think with more education and better exposure, the conversation will be different?
Now, you see, behind those herders, behind those big farms, there are big boys. Let me use that word. Now, you see that the farmer herders classes has claimed more than 50,000 lives. Can you believe that? More than 60,000 lives have been lost in a country that is not at war. In a country that is not at war, 60,000 people, more than that, died because of that. Now, how many people must die before everybody calms down? Now, the simple thing is that, if we are looking at agriculture and how to secure our food situation in this country, okay, there are copious examples we can learn from. Okay, copious examples. If the economic side of it, you have just stated it: increased milk yield, safety, animal size, everything. It's better with grazing reserve. It's better. So then you ask yourself the question: what is the issue again? It is better like that. So now, why are those people not understanding the fact that, you see, if you keep this thing within that grazing zone, or even the state managing it, or whoever is managing it, that you are going to save lives of the people, save lives of your cow, get more yield, have more food in your hand. Then why are you now roaming around? Must you be Israelites in those early centuries? So for us, and that's why I'm saying that if you politicize a critical issue, don't be surprised if you get this kind of outcome. It does not politicizing the thing for nothing. So for me, the conversation should actually be some states specializing, okay, and in some aspects of work. And again, you can be rest assured that New York, for instance, may not be so high on ranching when you compare to a place like California. They will not be high, and then you'll be surprised that UK as it is will not be high on meat when you compare to Netherlands. So what I'm saying in essence is that we have unique opportunities where some states so that maybe some states can say that good, I am going to supply the meat and the milk, or Nigeria can say I'm going to supply the meat and the milk to 60% of Nigeria because I have the ability to do that. And then we have a deficiency in deep thinking or boldness to push that kind of reform, or our greed. Because who they make more money? As a science person, we get meat to eat. I'm talking about the development going on in the world, the future development going on. So people will go meat in the laboratory, they will go chicken in the laboratory, and they will see it. So now we have a unique opportunity. I would rather, counsel some states, if they can hear anyway, to look at their strategic advantage. For instance, you saw what Lagos State is doing with 괶ᴜᴜᴜ trying to say, okay, you guys have the land, bring your rice. You guys have the land, bring your farm produce. I'll buy. In fact, Lagos is actually went right ahead to buy acreage of land to grow food in some other states and bring it to the state and put in food distribution centers or centers where it can be sold. So what is wrong? In some of these states, taking such advantages and networking with other states, it's not just about rice alone. It's about meat, about milk, about poultry, and so that listen, these are our own core competence. Let us do that. But everybody just looking at grazing was land was going this thing was good. Guys, let me tell you, the thing is that the surface area of Nigeria is big. You know, that land where you are in mainland will never become bigger than that. It will always be like that. Okay? And then if you look at the population growth, for instance, in this Nigeria, you know, you are doing four per woman. 4, 5 per woman. And then the population will keep growing. The doctors are examining to improve life. So we are still going to be contesting over that same square of land where you are. We're going to be contesting over the same pot of water, the same farmland, the same space. Most people contesting for those things. So if we cannot sit down and put a forward thinking, let me tell you, recently about 2 months ago I was in the capital of South Korea, Seoul. And it will be extreme pledge, it will be happen for you to see 2 building bungalow for what now? In a place like around the area where you are in England, you see people 30, 50, 100-story building, families staying there, they have a small space for their park. So that the small space of land can take larger number of people. But again, we think we have on lending size of land. Ordinary water is causing problem for us. Ordinary grass to eat is causing problem for us. And you know, so it's going to get worse as population increases. So it's the interest of some states to sit down and figure out how to, you know, leverage on their unique selling point, you know, on their own area of strength to feed. That's why I need lots of meat, lots of protein. Can you imagine if Niger State or Kogi State alone is supplying majority of the meat needed in the factories, in the homes, in the eatery and all those things, and then they have some standard, and then they have the means of moving those meats around. When their people be rich, when they have money, like everybody want to go and be fighting over ranking in the Western service. That law will not work. Just make that.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. T. Before I let you go, now let's look at the constitutionality of this issue itself. Senator Adamu Alero from PDP Kebbi Central cited the 1999 constitution that every citizen has the right to move without hindrance. Now, the issue here is not exactly the people moving those cattle, but sometimes the trail of destructions that usually follow wherever the cattle move to. Destruction of land, sometimes properties, they eat the produce, sometimes they destroy them. Is this still within the provision of the free movement in the Nigerian constitution, or is a case of where your right ends is where my own begins?
Right. Okay, everything is free to move. So can they come to your house now because they are free to move? What kind of constitutional position is that? So you said 6,000 people died for how many years? So those ones that died, that they are not supposed to be alive. No, what kind of constitutional position? Security not the first thing in the constitution. Security is the first thing in the constitution now. If they are not secure, we will be moving around. And then I'm not a lawyer. Please, that's clear that question of people moving around. Let them be moving around. Let them move and come to your house. Yeah, I don't, you know, honestly, Opeyemi, sometimes you wonder what exactly is driving our thought process. And then say, okay, everything is free to move. Move now, go and move to Boko Haram now. I think you are free to move. I don't know about that. To ask lawyer, I don't know about constitution. I only know about medical bills.
But you've been talking about a bill that is being discussed on the floor of the Senate. Thank you so much, Dr. Tᴜɪ̀nᴜ Mᴜɪᴜ, for joining us on the show today, and we truly really appreciate. And on the issue of the health conversation, don't worry, the people handling the health discourse on the station would certainly reach out to you, because like I said, when I was going through one of the stuff you did recently on the prostate cancer, I just felt like there seems to be a lot of misinformation out there, and people need to really know what is going on. So we'll reach out to you, Dr. Tᴜɪ̀nᴜ Mᴜɪᴜ. Thank you very much for spending time with me today on the show.
Thank you for me. It's always my pleasure.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Your weekend also.
Yeah, 45 minutes of talk with Dr. Tᴜɪ̀mᴜ is always a big pleasure, and then we decided to look into the issue of the, bill, or the bill that was sponsored on the floor of the Senate that had passed through the second, reading. The bill seeks to address the prolonged conflict between farmers and herders in Nigeria. And then it generated a lot of controversy on Wednesday. The bill was passed on Wednesday during the plenary after the majority of the senators supported it. When the Senate President, distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, put it into vote, and the bill is titled "A Bill for an Act to Establish the National Animal Husbandry and Ranches Commission for the Regulation, Management, Preservation and Control of Ranches throughout Nigeria and for Connected Purposes 2024. Well, there were 4, they were against, and like I said, it was not a newly introduced bill to the floor of the Senate, by the way. But as it is, the Senate President referred it to the Committee on Agriculture, Trade and Investment and Judiciary and Legal Matters to look into the issue and report to the Senate in 1 month. Well, argument for and against. Senator Abaribe from Abia South supported the bill, while Senator Dajuma Goje, the APC Gombe Central, disagreed with the provision of the bill that the ranches should only be established in states with pastoral communities. Adama Alero, Kebbi Central, says that the bill would contradict the 1999 Constitution that every citizen has the right to move without any hindrance. Well, you can join the conversation quickly before we take a break by 5 to take the headline news, and I won't come back on the turn of 5. We'll read your messages on Facebook. We'll also pick your calls. You're live on Mainland 98.3 FM, and this is the Situation Room. 0913-600-0410. Talk to us. Let me have your thoughts on the topic of discourse today. Hello, good evening.
Hello.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm
good to have you join us today.
Yeah, Opeyemi, very quickly. Our leaders, you can see that it opens that some of them are behind the killing that is happening in this country. How come? If you are saying that, everybody has right to move anywhere you like, are they telling you that cow is also, they're also categorizing?
Oh, Mr. Araba, you could try and call back if you're lucky. 0913-600-0410. Talk to us on Mainland FM. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
You're welcome.
It's Mickey West calling from.
Good to have you join us today.
Okay, first of all, the right to move around that the Constitution is talking about is for human beings, not for animals. After all, it's not only cow people here. There are people who raise snakes for business. So do I have the right to carry such snake, maybe go around with snakes? Well, there are the way we reason in this country that at times we politicize everything. That is why Nigeria is finding it difficult to move forward. I remember when we were small, those days, in those states, you see, right inside the bush, children will adventure so much, you see them in the bush, and they will face what they are doing, they will see us, they will play with us. But now they've been infiltrated, see, by killers, by people who are instruments in the hand of politicians. So now it is not like those days anymore. Things have evolved. You see, outside increased human activity, which those days, the places you know that they're grassy days. So that is why they will have to look for alternatives by themselves, create a place where they will grow those grasses for the animals. So now, instead of those grasses, they go there, they meet cassava, and then without option, they finish the cassava. And you expect the owner to be happy. See, that is the problem we have. The truth is that we should approach issues the way they come, and then we say to ourselves, see, there's a region in the country that believes that their interest is first before Nigeria. That is the truth. We should not pretend about that. Once you bring anything that affects their interest, they will not want to look at it, how it affects the whole Nigeria. It's just how it affects them. And we cannot move forward this way. That is it.
Thank you.
Thank you, okay?
Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. Don't forget, I will also streaming this program live on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can drop your comments. I would read them. You can also text us on 0913-600-0430. The line to call is 0913-600-0410. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, Ope.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. See, it's baffling and it's
Your name, where are you calling from?
My name is Joe. I'm calling from Ikeja.
Okay, Mr. Joe from Ikeja.
See, it's laughable and baffling that some individual will say because some set of people did not go to school and they do not have hospitals, we should let them be perpetrating activities that put the lives of entire Nigerians in jeopardy. It's really baffling. Now, is it my own duty as a person down south to create hospitals and to establish hospitals and schools for people nomadic here in the north? This is the duty of government, and it's because the man who said that statement himself is a failure. That's why such situation has prevailed till this moment. Because while he was a governor, if he had put in the necessary measure, these people have been controlled long before now. By the way, cows and humanity and human life, which one is most precious to us? You wouldn't, because of your own private business and enterprise, and put the life of individual in jeopardy. You can't be killing people because you feel like, okay, you want to protect their farmland from your cattle to destroy. And this continue unabated for years and for decades, and nothing seems to be going on. And now the government is trying to put up measures to curtail that, and you are coming to tell me, complain about, because these people are not exposed to schools and hospitals, so we should let them be having the privilege of destroying other people's livelihoods.
Using one more call. Thank you very much.
I said, ranch is the solution. Until those senators that sponsor those bills continue and stand on their feet, we in Nigeria, the women in Nigeria are behind them. Let them be doing. That is why secrecy is not good. If they have been doing the right thing, they will be telling us that this is a fantastic bill, and then you at the media, you guys, the media must not keep quiet. You must talk. This is the kind of bill that we want. Not about carrying national anthem that we're not supposed to be talking about. We're talking about this kind of issue because we're talking about security and job. If you, I don't know, maybe you watch the farm, the cow, how they enter people's farm. So you guys be talking about this particular thing. We want to know outcome of that bill.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I won't pick calls anymore. I would have to take a break to take the headline news by 5 o'clock, and immediately we're done with the headline news, I would certainly come back and straight up to picking your calls and reading your messages. 0913-600-0410. Those are the numbers to call. And 0913-600-0430 for your messages, and on facebook.com/mainland 98.3 FM. Drop your messages. I will read them when I come back on the turn of 5 o'clock. At the station room, we get to do this every Mondays to Fridays from 4 to 5:30 p.m. and I will be back immediately after the deadline news. Don't go nowhere.
Mainland 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial. 98.3 FM. Don't touch the dial.
Headline news on 98.3 Mainland FM.
Good evening. Headline news on Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Omobola Sandra. Enough is enough. Ex-CAN president asks President Tinubu to stop multiple taxation. Sultan of Sokoto declares June 16th Eid al-Adha for Muslims. Tariff hike. Multi-choice fined 150 million naira ordered to give Nigerians 1 month free subscription. WHO raises concern over increasing global STI cases. IMF and Egypt reach staff-level agreement on $820 million loan disbursement. On the foreign scene, Ramaphosa weighs unity government to resolve South Africa's political deadlock. And in sports, Nigeria versus South Africa. Star Tumwabali bench Okoye. Nigerians advise Finidi George. That's the headline news on Mainland FM. Details at 5:30.
You're listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. The sound of Lagos.
Purified water shows cement and confirm. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Ṛɔ̀ɔ̀bɔ̀ngɛ cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Purified water shows cement number one. Purified waterproof cement good full step for water wahala. Purified water shows cement water go collect. For Anjamu house, foundation and basement to go. Ṛɔ̀ɔ̀bɔ̀ngɛ cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria.
Put full stop for water wahala.
To cook correct food, they always give me joy. That's why anytime when I dey cook like this, I dey always season am with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, tatashe, shombo, onions. No one wey I no dey put. Na im make my pikin dem dey always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never available. I want more.
You see, all your food with correct vegetables. Come season am with no cubes for that ogbonge delicious taste. Today, chop better.
Purified water shows cement and confirm. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Ṛɔ̀ɔ̀bɔ̀ngɛ cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Purified water shows cement number one. Purified waterproof cement good full step for water wahala. Purified water shows cement water go collect. For Anjamu house, foundation and basement to go. Ṛɔ̀ɔ̀bɔ̀ngɛ cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria.
Put full stop for water wahala.
To cook correct food, they always give me joy. That's why anytime when I dey cook like this, I dey always season am with no cubes. Come add correct vegetables inside. Ugu, tatashe, shombo, onions. No one wey I no dey put. Na im make my pikin dem dey always enjoy my cooking.
Daddy, I never available. I want more.
You see, all your food with correct vegetables. Come season am with no cubes for that ogbonge delicious taste. Today, chop better.
Purified water shows cement and confirm. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Ṛɔ̀ɔ̀bɔ̀ngɛ cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria. Purified water shows cement number one. Purified waterproof cement good full step for water wahala. Purified water shows cement water go collect. For Anjamu house, foundation and basement to go. Ṛɔ̀ɔ̀bɔ̀ngɛ cement for waterlogged areas. Number one waterproof cement for Nigeria.
Put full stop for water wahala.
98.3 Mainland FM.
Things seems anxious and uncertain. I understand the hardship you face. I wish there were other ways, but yes, not. If there were,
In our quest to bring to the table stable, issue-based conversation around nationhood and development. We have made 4 to 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday the perfect time to welcome you into the Situation Room as we continue to build the narrative about public service and accountability.
Mr. President, this Senate needs to know. Mr. President, this Senate needs to lend its voice to the plight of these people. Mr. President, there is nowhere I can say to except here. This is why I'm elected. If I cannot say these things on this floor, sir, I better resign and leave.
As elections give the citizens the chance to make their political decisions, constant demand for quality leadership from those they voted into office.
Look at us, man, there is nothing, we are starving. Tinubu should please do something.
It's also important to having a Nigeria of everyone's dream. Join Opeyemi Akinyode as it takes to task seasoned analysts, opinion makers, business professionals, and politicians on issues around politics, policies, governance, and leadership. Every Monday to Friday from 4 to 5:30 p.m. on your super dial, Mainland 98.3 FM will welcome you next as we discuss the situations.
Thank you very much. Welcome back to the Situation Room live on Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. Before we went on that break, I had Dr. Tᴏɪᴛᴛ Mbanwodu join me on the show. Dr. Tᴏɪᴛᴛ Mbanwodu is a public affairs analyst, he's a social commentator, but more importantly, he's a public health expert. And you can check him out. He does a lot of work on, how you can actually take good care of your body. Very recently, he's been focusing on the issue of prostate cancer and how it can be prevented and all of that. So you can check him out. But we had this lengthy conversation around the bill that generated a lot of controversy in the course of this week, specifically on Wednesday on the floor of the Senate, where it passed the second reading, and a lot of people were asking questions, to be or not to be. So I decided to bring in Dr. Tᴏɪᴛᴛ Mbanwodu to help us understand that. The bill, titled "A Bill to Establish the National Animal Husbandry and Ranches Commission for the Regulation, Management, Preservation and Control of Ranches throughout Nigeria and for Connected Purpose 2024. The bill was sponsored by the Senator Titus Zam from APC Benue Northwest Senatorial District. Well, a lot of issues, counter motion, but it has passed the second reading, and the bill was actually directed to the Committee on Agric, Trade and Investment and Judicial and Legal Matters to look into it and report to the Senate in 1 month. Like I said, there were voices against it. Senator Danjuma Goje from Gombe Central disagreed with the bill that ranches should only be established in states with pastoralist communities. And then Senator Adamu Alero of PDP Kebbi Central also raised the point of order, citing the 1999 Constitution that allows every citizen the rights to move without any hindrance. Senator Kawu Sumaila, NNPP Kano, disagreed with the bill, claiming that it would also worsen the herders farmers crisis. Well, the Deputy Senate President, Senator Barao Jibrin, recommended that the bill should be stepped down for wider consultation and proper information. Back and forth, at the end of the day, the bill was actually moved, it was referred rather to the Committee on Agric, Trade and Investment to look into it and report back to the Senate within 1 month. To be or not to be, what do you take? I mean, if you've seen the devastating effect that the herders and the farmers clashes have had or is having presently on Nigerians across board, then we'll see how we can look for a workable solution to this problem that constantly broken us apart. You need to move around this country to see how many thousands of Nigerians that are internally displaced in their own country. You go to states, you go to regions, and you see hundreds of thousands of people living in IDP camps. They've been displaced from their communities. These are issues, and if those do not affect you, the fact that everybody is suffering from food shortage at the moment, food crisis, and it is majorly because the farmers cannot go to their farms. flooding issues left and right, and most importantly, the insecurity that the farmers are facing on their farms. Talk to me, 0913-600-0410. Pastor Ambrose, let's make it quick.
Good evening, Ope.
You're welcome.
You see, this idea that Benue, Plateau, and all of those states, they are not, is also a part of the problem. Why is it that these people that you just mentioned, anything they want, they get it? Whereas the person who sponsors this bill is from Benue. When they want anything, they will join them to their number. But when it comes to what will benefit those Benue people, those people will oppose it. You see, the major thing is, even if this bill passes through and they endorse it, we have to think about the security of the thing. Because if they do the bill and these people still carry this cattle and they go to all of these places, who is going to checkmate them? Mr. President said he was going to employ 50 million, and I'm serious. He should employ them. Let us have enough military men. If it is paramilitary and military, let us have them. Because this thing that we are talking about, these people, they will say not the have strength. You can see when they want to talk, they speak with one voice. But when it comes to the southwest will be saying something else, the southeast will be saying something else, the south will be saying something else. Even most of the north central, they are not north. In the whole of Benue State, they don't speak Hausa. In the whole of Kogi State, they don't speak Hausa. Except some part of Taraba and Plateau. You know what I'm talking about now. I am a barrack boy, so I know what I'm saying. And even as I'm talking to you now, the Plateau person will tell you she's not a Hausa person or he's not. So what am I saying? All of these things, they use it to deceive them, and all of this. We are one Nigeria. Why should we use your cat to come and destroy the crops that are planted? My friend in Kogi, they entered their farm, they destroyed everything. That's why we are hungry. See, it's not just the naira alone falling over this and that. Part of the problem is that people can't go to farm.
Thank you, Pastor.
That's why you see that things are so expensive in this country now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410 is the station room live from Milan 98.3 FM. Mr. Joshua, good evening.
Good evening, Professor Opeyemi.
You're welcome.
Yeah, can you hear me clearly?
I'm with you.
Okay. It baffles me to hear people say, "Oh, the particular constitutional provision is only for human beings." As if only human being has the right to move anywhere in Nigeria. See, the constitutional provision also guarantees that you can move anywhere with your phone. You can move anywhere with your business. I am not from Lagos, but I'm here in Lagos to work in Lagos. Does that mean, I have to all my clothes?
Mr. Joshua, I'm struggling to hear you, and I'm sure the other listener are also struggling to hear you. Can you change your location?
Can you hear me now?
Okay, it's better now.
Yeah, can you hear me now? So I'm saying the constitutional provision provide for both human beings and their properties and their businesses, whichever way you want to put it. So their animal is also part of their property, or you want to put it in another way, it's also part of their business. It's their business. They have the right to go anywhere with their business. I just think what we need to agitate for is a particular provision that will say, okay, stop moving around with this cattle, or if you insist to move around with this particular animal, any damage or any damage to any you will be responsible. The person doesn't need to fight them. Just take a picture, gather your evidence, and go to a particular court. Maybe they will create a particular court, a special court for them. Just go there and send out your evidence that, okay, this the damage this particular farmer has done to me. So, and you present it, they will pay you damages.
Thank you.
You understand?
Yeah, very well. Thank you very much. 0913-600-0410. Let me read some messages on Facebook. Tochukwu Adiele is talking to us on Facebook, and he says, "It is very unconstitutional. First things first, the bill should be thrown away now. Do not even wait until the 11th hour. Look, the bill, if passed into law, will start the creation of artificial scarcity of beef for human consumption, particularly in the south, who are not ready to let go of our or give away our lands. Secondly, the bill is seen a plan to politicize availability of beef for human consumption and to give the North more powers to bargain with. We have not had scarcity of beef even with Boko Haram menace. There is another cause and solution to Chukwuadili Thompson from Obaniko. Okay, John Bernardo, he says, where was Senator Adamu Aliyu when some northern states were stopping the movement of alcohol business? Benjamin says, talking to us, he said, to me the open grazing is outdated. It's not what we as a nation supposed to waste our time to deliberate on. The Fulani who were into the grazing when I was growing up in the village were friendly, loving and easygoing. Sometimes when they meet us in the farm while grazing, we give them cooked yam, they collect and they joyfully eat it. Today it is not so. The Fulani of today, okay. Benjamin, you say thank you, but I can't take the other part of your messages, but I thank you. Let me pick more calls, then we'll come back to Facebook. Hello, good evening.
Hello, Professor Opeyemi. Good evening.
I'm very well. Your name and where you calling from?
This is Paul from Egbeda.
Mr. Paul, you're welcome to the show.
How are you doing?
I'm very well. And you?
Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay, but we are just facing the hardship anyway. Opeyemi, the Constitution of Nigeria, like the other person quoted, I think he's quoting it out of context. Now, the Constitution does not allow you to take your phone to the military barracks, especially here. They will stop you. I remember one of the days, one of my colleagues had issue. We went to first headquarters. They did not allow us to take our phone into the office. We dropped it somewhere. So what about that? Doesn't the Constitution allow me to take my phone to any office? So I think the Senate President, that's the time I'm hearing him making a statement that I cherish and like. The goats and the cows are not citizens. They are animals. So they don't have the constitutional right to go into my farmland and destroy it. There is one video that is trading online where these cows and the herders went into some farmland where they plant maize and got acres of land destroyed. It's trading. I don't know whether you've come across it. And that, look at one stick of corn, they are selling it 400 naira, 500 naira. One, something they used to sell 50 naira or 70 naira. So that deal must be passed. We have to do the normal thing. In other countries of the world, even in Ghana, yeah, you do ranching. You do ranching. You can't use your business to destroy my own business. So I support that bill, and they not send for the Benue, Plateau, Kogi, Kwara. They should open their eyes and see. Just like Pasambu said, when it comes to general this thing, they will try them. But when it comes to what we favor the North Central, these people will opt out from it, which is not good. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for joining us on the show. More messages, more calls. I think we should do a few calls, then we'll read messages as well. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, bro, I called you earlier. This is Joe. You see, can I speak or?
Please just make it very, very quick. Very quick.
Oh, thank you. So you see, cattle rearing is a personal business. Farming is a personal business. Okay, individually owned by people who uses the Fulanis or whosoever to oversee these things. So if an individual business is being used to destroy another man's individual business, there should be a great effect to that consequence. I mean, a great consequence to that effect. That's what I want to say.
Thank you very much for calling back and then for finishing your thoughts with us. Let me read more messages, then we'll pick your calls. Okay. Let me quickly pick this one. Please rise.
You know, me I never thought before.
You're welcome.
You see, you know, when you are in anybody's community, you link your community to another community, from one region to another region. You can do your business. You can't do your business to within my own business. And this law, I want to just appreciate all the things you do in the country to support it, to save the country, to see the fight between the herdsmen and the farmer. As a farmer, if I go to my farm,
I grow my crop, and they are about to harvest. This will just enter there. Before they finish everything, what do we expect to do? Do I need to be begging them? Do I need to be shouting? Anything that I have, I will push against them, and you don't want this thing to happen. That's why they want a nice type of a law to make it. You see, that's a time I live by before. We have to have the malu at Ajele. From there, you take it out in the morning, they come back in the evening. I was thinking, why did we go and feed their cow? If I don't say it's only Northerner that is running cow. No, some of Southerners have all these cows. They may employ these people to react for them. So if I'm consistent, if I want to do cow business, go and bring it from the north, to create a place for them. Let them get there.
Thank you.
And let them get there, feed them there. That's all right. Thank you, to ravage my farm. No. Opeyemi.
Thank you very much. Okay, messages coming in and says every citizen has the right of movement but not animals. Animals should be ranched to end farmers and others frequent clashes. Holland, that is the highest producer of beef and milk, are practicing ranching. Okay, that's Jerry Eruba from Baroa in Ipaja. Thank you very much. Tochuko Adeli, okay, you've actually texted on Facebook, and I already read your message on Facebook. Thank you very much. Okay, more messages. This one says, does it mean the Yoruba can establish their own school, or the Igbo can establish their business in any part of the country just because of freedom of movement? The progress is far from this country because of tribalism, religion, ethnicity, and sentiment. There are some estates in which you are not allowed to have any pets. The bill cannot see the light of day. Taiwo from Abule Egba. Okay, thank you very much. The bill centers around movement of the people, not movement of animals. The senators need to understand that they are representing people and not cows. So let me ask, do cows vote in election? No. So let us ban open grazing and embrace ranching. Thank you very much. That's Festus from Ikorodu. More calls. Hello, good evening. You're welcome. Good to have you today.
Honestly, it's been a while. How are you doing?
I'm well, and you?
Oh, thank God. Nigerians have spoken very well. Honestly, I can't really believe our leaders are so. In fact, they are so wonderful in blunder. So wonderful in blunder. How can we just so think? A lot of people have died through this process. A lot of more than 55,000 Nigerians lost their life at the time of February. But if cow must move around on what ground? Cow is cow Nigerians citizens. Do we have like that message read? The cow, do they actually vote in our polling unit? If Nigeria must move around freely. Okay, we have a lot of land in Lagos, selling biscuits and sweets, running clothes, even condemn. Now I hear that. Yeah, in fact, a lot. Who complains about them? But don't go and carry your cow to come and disturb my whole area. By far. The Western people, in fact, we cannot go to farm again. Why? Because of all these carriers. And the thing is just that if we will continue like this, where are we going? Do we need to prioritize the movement of cow than the existence of human being in Nigeria? In fact, in the National Assembly, I know these terrorists and they must have their own representative there. We might not know them. But they should come to a conclusion. What do we need in this country? Do we need to kill people more? Must people actually cause to grave more? Why are we actually behaving this way? We should wake up.
Thank you.
And Abi must not see that of the day. Thank you
very much, Mr. Damilola, for joining the conversation. Lariola coming on Facebook is talking to us, and it says, open grazing is archaic method of animal production. It's absurd seeing cows and other animals moving around freely on the major roads. Some of these nomadic herders at times are turning into kidnapping and robbery. Okay, I thank you very much, Lekon Olakomi. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening.
You're welcome.
It's Opeyemi.
Your name, where are you calling from?
My name is Alaji Suwa.
Okay.
Yes. The people, the senator that vote against,
they are enemies of this country. It's so surprising that even the senator from Borno State, they are voting against. That means they are behind the Boko Haram. You know, it's as simple as that.
I think that's not such a very, very careful statement to make. I would appreciate if we can take it back and let's just keep the conversation very civil. I mean, that's an umbrella statement, you know.
Okay. In a nutshell, what I'm saying is that for them voting against, you know, the number of killing, you know, that is happening in the North Sea.
True.
People from Borno. That is what surprised me. With the number of IDP that is already there in Plateau, in Borno State, you know, people they have destroyed lots of lives that have been, you know, lost. So that's why I said they are more or less, you know, enemies of this country, the way I look at them. But at the same time, I think, you know, politics apart, it is now time for everybody to wake up, especially on this ranking. Enough is enough. The calamity, the consequences is what we are facing. You know, our people cannot go to farm. We are now hungry, and that is what they want. But I think we have to wake up. I'm appealing to all respective states. Pass a motion. You understand? In your own state, if there's no, you know, go area in the National Assembly based on the political structure that is there. Because if you look at it, like somebody said in one of your discussion, you know, the Westerners will be saying that you know, the Southerners are not even, you know, I mean, they're not united in their voice in that particular place. So in that case, let all the states, because enough is enough for this suffering.
Thank you.
We are all suffering it now. So let the state promulgate a law that stop ranking. Enough is enough for this ranking. The ranking is a personal business.
Yeah, thank you very much. Joshua Andover on Facebook says, okay, Joshua from Oregon, seriously, I don't know why some people can be sensitive and sentimental like this. So as a farmer now in Lagos, I can just see someone's land and then start farming because I'm a farmer. No one is stopping anyone from doing cow business. Just adopt the ranching. So what's the big deal? Imagine what those people would take cows into someone's land and he can't do anything. Let's be serious. So it is better to have food scarcity than beef scarcity. That's a question Joshua from Oregon is asking. And ultimately, the last we'll take on the show for the week. Thank you so much to everyone. Apologies for the calls coming in. I can't pick them anymore. God willing, on Monday, I will be having Honorable Rekia Hassan, the Vice Chairman of Onigbongbo Local Government, Local Council Development Area of Lagos State, and Mr. Wale Adibayo, the former Local Government Chairman of Ijebu East Local Government Area. I remember the man that was, impeached by his councillors after, openly challenging the governor of Ogun State in terms of the revenues that are supposed to come into local government. He's going to be joining us on Monday, 4 o'clock. Don't miss that. Keep your dad locked on Mainland 98.3 FM. I will be back by 6 o'clock for Sport Cruise. Today, the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be playing the Bafana of South Africa by 8 p.m. We'll get all of that and more by 6 o'clock. My name is Opeyemi Akinyode. Stay out of trouble and keep your dad locked only on Mainland 98.3 FM because we are the sound of Lagos. Have a beautiful weekend.